18.
Hi there, everyone. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
The Joplin Health Department holding its first vaccine clinic on its own, but the spaces filled up quickly. I'm Chris Warner with what you need to know about how to register for the next clinic when vaccine becomes available.
Former President Trump's impeachment trial is now just 1 week away. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with the latest from the former president's legal team as well as the House impeachment managers coming up.
Doug Eddy has weather tonight. Jacob Leonard has some sports as well. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. A former gymnastics coach is charged with sex crimes. 45-year-old Kip Johnson of Joplin faces 2 counts of statutory sodomy in the 2nd degree in Jasper County, Missouri, along with furnishing pornography to a minor. He's also been charged with 2 counts of statutory sodomy in the 2nd degree in Newton County, Missouri. Joplin police say the incidents happened between 2018 and 2019. Police allege a juvenile victim was assaulted by Johnson, who at the time was a gymnastics coach for the victim. Authorities in Joplin say a 63-year-old victim of an alleged domestic assault has died. Police say on January 18th, officers responded to a home on South Wall for a report of an assault. When they arrived, found the victim, 63-year-old Ann McCrary, with a broken arm and head and face injuries. She was taken to the hospital where she would die later on the 31st. Now, the man accused in her death, 38-year-old Casey Malone, was arrested last month before the victim's death and charged with first-degree domestic assault. Well, the Joplin Health Department provides information on how residents can get registered for those vaccine clinics. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with the department, also a local pharmacy, about vaccine registration options.
The Joplin Health Department held a vaccine clinic Tuesday at MSSU, the first one held by the department itself. Health Department Director Ryan Talkins says people must register for the clinics.
So as a clinic comes open, they can register and schedule off of our website. If they are unable to register on the website, there is a phone-in option also.
Talkins says the vaccine registration is first come, first served.
The City of Joplin, we are not keeping any lists right now, so all registrations are occurring either off of the phone-in number or off of the online scheduling registration.
Kobe Prater, a pharmacist and owner of Prater's Pharmacy, says they do have a waiting list that patients can get on.
We currently have a wait list that we started about a month ago for all 3 of our stores, Webb City, Seneca, and Sarcoxy. It has about 900 people on it right now.
Prater says there's also an online option available as well.
That link's on our Facebook page. Because of the volume of phone calls that we've been getting, we wanted to make that easily accessible. If for some reason a patient doesn't have internet or Facebook, they can always call the pharmacy and we can put their name on the list.
Despite the wait list, they haven't seen any vaccine yet. Prater says that's because the state has been sending it to major health systems and specific areas, which is something he feels needs to change.
So we'd really like to see the state change their rollout plan and not send so much vaccine to just certain sites, but to spread it out geographically. There's thousands of independent pharmacies in the state that are signed up and ready to give vaccine, and we're just basically waiting because we haven't had any vaccine shipped to us.
In Joplin and Webb City, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Joplin Health Department has announced another vaccine clinic starting tomorrow, but only 100 vaccines are going to be available. We have links to the Joplin Health Department and Prater's Pharmacy registration sites, as well as additional vaccine resources for where you live on our website. See it right there, KOAMNewsNow.com. The Biden administration is taking new action to expand the nation's vaccine rollout, and this comes as a new mask mandate goes into effect. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more.
Airlines have had mask requirements in place since last spring, but now it's a federal mandate. A new CDC order requires people to wear masks on all forms of public transportation and when moving through transportation hubs like airports and bus stations. A TSA spokesperson telling Fox News in part, quote, "Passengers without a mask may be denied entry, boarding, or continued transport. Failure to comply with the mask requirement can result in civil penalties.
This is really more about everybody working together to help secure the transportation system.
The mask mandate is one of several actions being taken to stop the spread of new coronavirus strains. The CDC says it's increasing surveillance of these variants with a goal to sequence 7,000 virus samples each week to detect virus mutations.
Variants remain a great concern, and we continue to detect them in the United States, with at least 33 jurisdictions reporting 471 variant cases as of January 31st.
Meanwhile, vaccinations are ramping up across the country. The Biden administration announcing today the federal government will ship vaccines directly to pharmacies beginning next week. About 6,500 sites will receive a total of 1 million vaccine doses in the initial phase.
Sites are selected based on their ability to reach some of the populations most at risk for severe illness from COVID-19, including socially vulnerable communities.
The Biden administration is also increasing the overall weekly vaccine supply to states to 10.5 million doses. In Los Angeles, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Mr. Doug Keddy joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Gorgeous evening, I thought. Bit of a chilly night, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day for us today. We went up to about 50 degrees. Cold start of 24. Of course, once that sun sets, it gets pretty cold across the region. But clear skies, we're going to continue to have the clear skies for us tonight. And still a decent amount of sunshine even for us during the daytime hours on a Wednesday. Out to the west, here are the beginnings of our next storm system, which will start to affect us by Thursday. But we have one more day that it looks pretty good. It is chilly. Most of us are sitting into the mid-30s right now. We'll drop back to about 32, 41 by 9. Look at our high temp up to 58 by tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we got changes working in. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. New developments today in the impeachment trial of former President Trump. House impeachment managers have filed their pre-trial brief, and the former president's legal team has responded. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are also expressing how they view what will soon be taking place next week. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard reports.
Former President Trump's second impeachment trial will begin in 1 week. The impeachment managers have presented their legal brief, outlining why they say President Trump should be convicted for his alleged attempts to overturn the election and his role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Writing, "The Constitution governs the first day of the president's term, the last day, and every moment in between. Presidents do not get a free pass to commit high crimes and misdemeanors near the end of their term." But the former president's newest legal team is pushing back, saying a Senate impeachment trial on a past president is unconstitutional, a point a majority of Senate Republicans seemed to side with in January.
I want to listen to the arguments. I think that's what we ought to do. That's what I said before it started. That's still my view.
The legal team going on to say the impeachment violates Mr. Trump's right to free speech. Quote, "The 45th president exercised his First Amendment right under the Constitution to express his belief that the election results were suspect." The impeachment managers pushed for a conviction by the Senate, writing, "Failure to convict would embolden future leaders to attempt to retain power by any and all means, and would suggest that there is no line a president cannot cross." Senate Leader Chuck Schumer was asked if he'd be open to censure.
I hope he will vote to be convicted. Anything past that is something we can discuss.
Democrats want to ensure President Trump can never hold public office again. Trump's legal team argues because he is now a private citizen, the Senate cannot tell him what to do. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Democrats and Republicans remain at a stalemate over the final price tag on the next round of coronavirus relief, despite a White House sit-down with a group of GOP senators. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has the latest now on where those negotiations stand.
Democrats are moving forward with budget reconciliation, a process that could allow them to pass coronavirus relief without Republican support.
We're off to a totally partisan start. I think that's unfortunate.
Democrats say the president's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan and the Republicans' $600 billion relief proposal are too far apart.
If we did a package that small, we'd be mired in the COVID crisis for years.
The differences on extra unemployment benefits and stimulus checks are potentially small enough to make a deal, but they're miles apart on the Democrats' proposed $325 billion for state and local governments, which Republicans don't support, in addition to other items. The White House is indicating the president is willing to compromise, but won't move much from his overall dollar figure.
When 1 in 7 American families don't have enough food to eat, we need to make sure people get the relief they need and are not left behind.
Republicans argue the president is ignoring his own calls for unity.
Looks to me like an approach of, hey, I want to talk to you, but if you don't kind of come my way, we're going to do it anyway.
Centrist Democratic Senator Joe Manchin supports budget reconciliation and says it should remain a bipartisan process.
Nothing should be taken off the table. Everybody has the position. That's how negotiations start.
Passing a bill using budget reconciliation could take up to 2 months to complete. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4 state heroes. James Hadan served in the U.S. Army from 1952 to 53. He was a prisoner of war in a Korean prison camp. We are proud to thank Corporal James Hadan. He is tonight's 4 state hero. Doug Heddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast. A bit later in sports, going to hear from Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes on which athletes he looks up to.
Well, it actually turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. We got some sunshine out there. Temperatures not too bad, as most of us were into the lower 50s for afternoon highs, which, hey, we'll definitely take. Great time lapse. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But look at our temperatures. We've been warming up. Lower 40s yesterday. It was a cold start this morning, mid-20s, and then lower 50s for highs for us today. 40 in Anderson, 37 Oswego, 36 in Pittsburgh. Stockton is checking in at 32 degrees. And we have clear skies. Not too much is going on. Really not much is going on across the entire Central Plains due to this nice big ridge of high pressure right on top of us. And then farther west than that, that's where our next storm system sits, which is pulling into the Pacific Northwest at this point in time. That system will start to affect us as we go into Thursday. All right, for us tonight, it's going to be cold, of course. We're going to drop back near freezing, but Wednesday looks pretty good. A little windy, south winds at about 10 to 20, but it helps our temperatures warm into the upper 50s during the afternoon. 52 by noon, high temp of 58 during the afternoon. Tomorrow night, clouds increase. May even get a few random showers in here late tomorrow night and then into Thursday morning. But here comes a cold front. During the daytime hours on Thursday, here's 10 a.m. on Thursday morning, we'll start to get some light showers. We'll get northerly winds behind the front. The showers will be very scattered, and then once the front rolls through, our temperatures will drop from the 50s down into the 40s and eventually down into the 30s by Thursday afternoon. So we could get a few flakes of snow mixing in. This system exits. Here comes the next system. It drops in on Saturday. This is going to have an Arctic front with it. We really haven't had much in the way of Arctic air this year, and it really doesn't even push that far south. It just kind of barely makes it to the area, but it will cool us down. So late Saturday and then into Sunday, with this weak wave, we may get some light snow showers. It doesn't look like a big deal, but something I want to watch. Even on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, we could get some light little snow showers or flurries. A little stronger wave kicks out Tuesday into Wednesday with a little better chance for some wintry weather. So at least we have a lot to watch as we go through the next several days. If we look down the road, this starts with tomorrow. Tomorrow's a yellow day. It's a mild day. And then you can see the light blue days for the rest of the week. So cool temperatures with those precip chances. And then look at next week. Mainly a cold week, so it turns much colder as we head into the weekend. 58 tomorrow, 55 and dropping on Thursday. Only 47 on Friday, 41 on Saturday, but look at Super Bowl Sunday, a high temp of only 28 degrees. So it gets pretty cold.
Yeah, tomorrow looks like a real treat, though.
Yeah, tomorrow looks great. Enjoy it because it's going to be cold for the next week and a half.
How many times have we heard that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Doug, thank you, man. Coming up, federal law enforcement workers killed.
Two FBI agents are dead after serving a warrant in South Florida. I'm Phil Keating in Sunrise, Florida, with the details straight ahead.
An early morning visit by the FBI to a Florida apartment complex turned deadly. Fox News correspondent Phil Keating is in Sunrise, Florida, with the details.
Two FBI agents were killed Tuesday morning and three others wounded at an apartment complex in Sunrise, Florida. The agents were serving a warrant in a child pornography case. The suspect in the shooting is also dead, apparently killing himself after barricading inside his home for several hours. The FBI identifying the victims as Special Agent Daniel Alfin and Special Agent Laura Schwarzenberger, veterans of the Internet Crime Against Children Task Force program. Two of the wounded agents are said to be in stable condition. The FBI is investigating, releasing statements saying, quote, "The review process is thorough and objective and is conducted as expeditiously as possible under the circumstances." The upscale gated community is located about 10 miles northwest of Fort Lauderdale in South Florida. Authorities immediately put the neighborhood, called Water Terrace, on lockdown as a precaution. Former NYPD Detective Pat Brosnan calling into Fox News Channel with his insights into what may have happened.
This is a guy who was going to be served with a criminal complaint, possibly relative to child pornography, and he opened fire, wounded and killed, wounded three, and brutally murdered two FBI agents. It's unbelievable.
This sobering video showing a flag-draped body being unloaded as a line of officers salute. FBI agents getting shot and killed is an extremely rare occurrence. The last time it happened, back in 2008. In Sunrise, Florida, Phil Keating, Fox News.
All right, just ahead, a winter crazy land.
A powerful winter storm pummels the Northeast for a second day. I'm Aisha Hasni in New York with all the details straight ahead.
Just in case if you missed what Punxsutawney Phil today said about winter, listen closely to this next story. That ruthless rodent. 70 million people digging out as a major winter storm continues to slam the Northeast. Fox News correspondent Aisha Hasni has more now from New York City.
The first major winter storm of 2021 hitting the Northeast.
Now the snow's on top, they got that layer of ice underneath, so just trying to plow it off.
Snow still falling in some areas, although it's much lighter. New Jersey walloped with some parts getting up to 30 inches of snow. The storm making travel treacherous here in New York City. We got more than a foot of snow for the first time in 5 years. At one point, trains and above ground subway service were suspended due to harsh conditions. Now they're back up and running.
We had the local state of emergency in place until 6 a.m. this morning. That's now been lifted. But obviously, want to keep saying to folks, if you don't need to be driving on the roads, please don't. If you can stay home, it's still best while the cleanup is continuing.
Meanwhile, appointments for COVID vaccines have been canceled across multiple states in an effort to keep people safe and off the roads during the storm.
I don't fault the state for canceling it, but they just threw me back into the general pool now to get another appointment.
Punxsutawney Phil!
And after all this snow, many people were probably hoping Punxsutawney Phil would predict an early spring, but they'll have to wait.
6 more weeks of winter there will be.
And the National Weather Service says more than 8 inches are expected to keep on falling throughout the area, at least through this evening. In New York, Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
Gonna meet the oldest African penguin in the world. Celebrating a birthday, by the way. 4-State Zone, KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14, back right after this. So turning 41 is not usually considered a milestone birthday, right? But for an African penguin named E.T., every birthday is a reason to celebrate. The Metro Richmond Zoo over in Virginia, where E.T. lives, says she's the oldest African penguin in the world. Isn't that something? The birthday is important because African penguins usually don't live that long. The average lifespan is around 15 to 20 years, but they can live longer at zoos. E.T. has outlived 2 of her mates and has a current one named Einstein. He's smart to be with her. But zoo officials say E.T. is in good health considering her age. I agree, she gets around pretty well. Better than me, considering we both walk the same, really, you know. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Missouri Healthcare for All holds a panel to discuss systemic racism's impacts on healthcare. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Also, going to learn about a study being done at MSSU by students there looking at microplastics in water.
Fall in love with sleep.
Missouri Healthcare for All and Joplin for Justice hold a webinar to discuss the impacts of systemic racism in healthcare on people of color. KOM Zach Dodge was tuned in, and Zach has this story.
Within the healthcare system, I have experienced people communicating attitudes that reject the idea that racism is a problem in our community or within the healthcare system.
Dola Flake, founding member of Joplin for Justice and a medical social worker, talks about her own experience with systemic racism within healthcare.
For me, it really created a disconnect between myself and them because I knew that they did not understand my experience.
Flake was one of 4 members of the Black community to speak on how systemic racism within healthcare impacts people of color. Flake says one big thing is how implicit biases can cause disparities in care, even when a patient makes it to the doctor's office.
People of color are less likely to receive the pain medication that they need, and part of that is related to implicit biases and ideas that the people of color are not being honest about their pain.
They say systemic racism runs deep within healthcare, and even now in the way that vaccines are being distributed.
In rural communities where you have only one hospital and you have to figure out how to get there, that is a huge barrier.
The panelists say the first step towards getting to a level playing field is recognizing that systemic racism exists. A big thing they would like to see is a conscious effort on the part of hospitals.
I haven't been to a diversity training since 1999. That's pretty sad. We very much lack diversity training, and I always speak about it. There needs to be diversity training, especially in this area.
And the people who work there.
I think we have to get used to having conversations that are difficult in spaces that we are highly regulated in. And so speak up, use your voice.
Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
We will have the full webinar on our website later this evening. That's KOMNewsNow.com. February is American Heart Month. Freeman Health System and the American Heart Association have some reminders, important reminders at that, about heart health. It's important to see your doctor regularly to make sure you have a healthy blood pressure, among other things, of course. Also, COVID-19 patients in particular need to make sure nothing too dangerous is happening in the body. Studies show the coronavirus can affect the heart in particular. Well, a couple of students at Missouri Southern are studying the Spring River watershed in southwest Missouri for microplastics. Avery Cozens and Tim Peternell are doing the study for their honors project. They collected samples from the watershed and have started lab work to analyze them. Students say they don't know what to expect since no such study has ever been done on this watershed.
And most of the research that has gone into it has been on coastline and ocean maritime research. So we're looking into seeing where it is in a place like this, in the Spring River. It's so landlocked. So that we can kind of bring awareness towards this issue, that it is a global issue, not just a coastline issue.
Students also say initial research does show the presence of microplastics from clothing and microbeads, which are now banned here in the United States because they don't decompose. Several parents in southeast Kansas will have an easier time getting necessities for their little one. Bundles of Joy, Pearls and Curls boutique store in Girard, Kansas donated diapers to the Crawford County Diaper Stock, an organization that gives diapers to parents in need. Pearls and Curls hosted a diaper drive not too long ago, and customers showed support in any way they could. Chiefs fans over in Carl Junction at the schools there are showing their support for the team by celebrating Tyreek Tuesday. The name refers to Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill, who is nicknamed Cheetah because he's so fast. So the students dressed up in cheetah print, also Chiefs gear. Several students said they'd be pretty upset. In fact, they would even cry if the Chiefs were to lose, but they think it ain't gonna happen.
I like the commercials, they're pretty funny. I also just like watching the Chiefs play.
Ryan, I agree, dude. Tomorrow's Spirit Day in Carlin Junction is back-to-back Wednesdays, celebrating the Chiefs making the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Be sure to tune in to KOA Morning News tomorrow to catch an interview with former NFL referee Larry Nemmers. He's from Springfield and officiated 3 Super Bowls during his career. Our own Jesse Irwin is talking to him about his career and what to watch for heading into the big game. Again, that's going to be on tomorrow's KOAM Morning News. Well, now that the COVID-19 vaccine is being distributed, we're learning more about who's not getting it. A CDC report reveals only about a third of nursing home staff members got their first shot when it was offered, shedding more light on the prevalence of vaccine skepticism. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has a look at who specifically doesn't want to roll up that sleeve for the vaccine and why.
The vaccine rollout is hitting an unexpected roadblock. Healthcare workers refusing to take the shot. While frontline workers have priority access, not everyone wants to roll up their sleeve, especially those working in nursing homes. In fact, new data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reveals only about a third of nursing home staff members have received their very first dose, compared with roughly 80% of residents.
Of course, I'm skeptical too, but if Dr. Fauci and Kamala Harris take it and survive, I think that's a pretty good indicator it's all right.
Nursing home workers aren't the only ones with vaccine skepticism. A recent Pew Research Center study suggests Black Americans are less inclined to take the vaccine than any other racial group, a hesitancy that is rooted in historical trauma. You may recall it was in Tuskegee, Alabama, where the government once used black men as guinea pigs to study a sexually transmitted infection, and locals there are having an awfully hard time overcoming their distrust of government-sanctioned medicine.
I would be wrong to say it doesn't. It does have an impact on decisions. Being in this community, growing up in this community, I would be very untruthful if I didn't say that.
It is not just the U.S. trying to temper some vaccine skepticism. France, Italy, and other European countries apparently are also struggling to build confidence in the vaccine. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
A bit later, we're going to look at how cruise ports have been struggling during this pandemic.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice day for us today. We got the sunshine across the region. Temperatures pretty good, as well as we did go 50 to about 51 in most locations. So we'll take that. Great time lapse. The Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. And I think we'll see clear skies throughout the overnight hours for us tonight. Look at our temps warming up. Lower 40s yesterday, mid-20s this morning, lower 50s for us during the afternoon. And it is cold. I mean, it's wintertime. We're dropping back into the mid-30s right now. I think most of us will bottom out near freezing later on tonight. But clear skies sticking around for us tonight. Really not much going on across the Central Plains, but you can see how all the clouds that kind of look like they jump over the Rockies, and it's because there's a big ridge of high pressure really just west of us, and as long as that sits on top of us, we're going to see pretty good weather. And that's what we're going to have tomorrow until this system out across the Pacific Northwest decides to roll in, and that's going to change our weather up by the time Thursday rolls around. For us tonight, clear skies, lower 30s, overnight lows, upper 50s for us tomorrow. So it looks great. I mean, just a fantastic day. The only downfall to tomorrow is it's going to be windy. 32 to start, 52 by noon, high temp of 58, south winds at about 10 to 20, gust upwards of 25. Clouds increase tomorrow night. Late tomorrow night, so we're talking 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll start to get some light little showers popping up across the region. These are going to be scattered light showers through Thursday morning. Look at the cold front, slides through, and on the back side, we could get a couple little flakes of snow mixing in. Not a huge deal, but something we'll keep our eyes on. After that system, another system drops in on Saturday. This is going to have an Arctic front with it. The Arctic air is not going to surge too far south. In fact, it's going to really kind of put the brakes on once it hits us, but we will cool down with it, and we may get some light snow showers late Saturday. That wave rotates east, some snow flurries on Sunday, and then late Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday, a little stronger system will give us a little better chances for snow, but at least we got something to watch over the next several days. So tomorrow's going to be mild. Tomorrow's a yellow day, and then we cool down to the wonderful blue day. So you can really see the next 2.5 weeks in general, we're going to be fairly cool across the region. We're going to go up and down, but it's going to be fairly cool across the region. 58 tomorrow, 55, and dropping on Thursday. Thursday afternoon, we're going to be into the 30s. 47 Friday, Saturday 41. Look at Super Bowl Sunday. 28 in flurries here, but not in Tampa. It's going to be in the upper 60s to lower 70s. The Chiefs may have to combat a few random showers, but in general, it looks like a pretty good forecast for that huge game Sunday evening.
Well, the Chiefs are going to have to combat Tom Brady, for gosh sakes.
They are. He never goes away.
He never goes away.
I am. He never goes away.
Doug Eddy, thanks so much. All right, coming up in sports, after having the game originally postponed, Missouri Southern hitting the hardwood against Northwest Missouri. Plus, how that Patrick Mahomes was able to use this year to find his voice when it comes to helping his community.
Hungry and looking. The Missouri Southern Lions are on the floor tonight, hosting the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Now, this matchup was supposed to happen in December, but it was postponed due to COVID issues at Northwest. On the men's side, big opportunity for the Lions against the third-ranked team in the country. Early on, Lions down 7. Stan Scott driving in, scoring. And Cam Martin getting the putback off his own miss. He had 30 tonight. Lions, though, down 7. Later in the half, here they come. Avery Taggart dropping in the 3. The lead's down to 5. Then, look at this. Martin going to work. Gets up for the big jam. The Lions not done yet. Pass goes across court to Winston Desasau. He gets the 3. Game tied up at that point. Into the half, Martin. Good from the left side. Bearcats, though, up 7 at half. Game stayed tight, but Northwest makes it by Southern 84-74. To the women's game now. Lions aim for their 3rd consecutive win. First quarter, back-to-back buckets. First, Carly Turnbull drives. Then, jumper there from Megan Jackson. Moso opens on a 6-0 run. Later in the quarter, 3 from Turnbull at the top of the key. Lions lead by 2 after 1. Second quarter, Northwest responds. Mia Stillman knocking down the 3. Northwest comes back to lead it by 3 at half. Third quarter, Amaya Johns, 3 ball of her own. Lions, though, down 5. Then Jackson working in the paint. She gets the hook to fall. Game was close. The Lions only score 7 in the 4th. Southern falls 63-46. We are now down to just 5 days away from Super Bowl 55 in Tampa Bay. The Chiefs face the Buccaneers on Sunday night, aiming for their 2nd straight Super Bowl title. Now, it's been another outstanding season for quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Finished the year with 4,700 yards and 38 touchdowns while throwing just 6 interceptions. Now, he's also found his voice off the field, aiming to make a difference in the community and being someone young people look up to. Mahomes spoke today about the athletes he looks up to and using his platform as a pro.
I mean, there's a lot of great athletes that are doing things the right way. LeBron is one of them. He's someone that I can talk to and get advice from. But there's others. I mean, there's a ton of people that are using their voice to make a difference in this world. And I try to take from them and then kind of use my own voice and my own way to make an impact in my community.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
This pandemic has ravaged America's cruise line industry, halting all trips since last March. And with more companies canceling cruises through this spring, this has created an absolute nightmare for America's port communities. Fox's multimedia reporter Robert Sherman has more.
Hasn't been one there for 8 months, and now that it's parked there, it's like, I couldn't remember it was that big.
It's been a while since Michael Schwarz has seen a cruise ship dock by his restaurant Fish Lips in Port Canaveral, Florida. While this ship is only here for maintenance, Schwarz has missed seeing them. and the business they bring.
Most of our bars will be busy with people wanting to watch the cruise ships come out. It's been a big dent in our wallets.
Cruises have been canceled since March, and a report last November showed the shutdown had already cost 164,000 people their jobs. Florida has been especially hard hit, since the state is home to the 3 busiest cruise ports in the world.
That ship right there today is bringing jobs to this area. There's about 40 people that are working today that weren't working yesterday. So the cruise industry is all about jobs. It's all about people working in the state of Florida.
Captain John Murray, Port Canaveral CEO, says while cargo shipments have helped keep them afloat, they need the cruise liners to return. But that may not be for a while. A number of companies have already canceled all cruises through April, some through May. And while airports have received relief, seaports have not.
Every state has airports, so that gets high visibility. Seaports don't necessarily get that coverage because only some states have them.
For Michael Schwarz, all he can do is hope for better days.
I think it'll really put a shot in the arm to everybody that if they're sailing, things are a little bit back to normal.
Port officials don't know what this year will bring. They're hopeful that passengers will be able to return to cruise ships by the summer, but they're prepared for that timeline to be pushed back even further. In Port Canaveral, Florida, Robert Sherman, Fox News.
All right, J-Lo fans have something to be excited about. Singer and actress announcing some new gigs on Netflix. Hollywood Nation coming your way. From an iconic jazz singer's health battle to Jennifer Lopez's new role, plus a Black Panther spin-off series, Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
The world of Wakanda expands. J-Lo teams up with Netflix, and a legendary singer goes public about his health in the Hollywood Nation. Tony Bennett and his family reveal he has Alzheimer's. A new feature for AARP magazine details the 94-year-old singer's battle with the disease, which has progressed since being diagnosed in 2016. But it's not keeping the jazz legend silent. According to the article, Bennett is still working on new material, including a follow-up to his 2014 collaboration with Lady Gaga on Cheek to Cheek. Jennifer Lopez has lined up a new gig for Netflix. According to Deadline, the singer-actress will produce and star in the action thriller The Mother, playing a deadly assassin who comes out of hiding to protect the daughter she gave up years before. She is also working with the streamer on another project titled The Cipher, playing an FBI agent assigned to a daunting serial killer case. Plus, she is on board to produce as well.
It is your time.
And a Wakanda spin-off TV series is coming to Disney+. Black Panther writer and director Ryan Coogler is developing the show about the fictional kingdom for the streamer as part of a new 5-year deal with Disney. He is currently working on the Black Panther sequel, expected in theaters July 2022. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with drone video of the snow-covered San Bernardino Mountains in California. Look at that. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.